doing my own music now. Dig it? Aaron! Robin Everly! Oh yeah. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? You know, if you can't get a hold of some, peyote or LSD or psilocybin, I recommend a good beat. Brenda! Hola, hola, hola! Erin is scratching her head like, what is happening? Oh yeah, I got a foot pedal too. How the heck are you, everybody? I always look forward to this day so much. You are beautiful people. Beautiful! Look at you, everybody saying good morning to everybody. It's like when I went to church. When I went to church as a kid and you'd walk in the front door and everybody would say, good morning! It's so lovely. Together. That is the name of the game. Best day of the week. I do feel it too. The love is real. The love is real. It's wonderful. Hey, I might do, I don't know. I might actually try and do a stream at another time in the week where I do some music, but I want to We must. Absolutely must. Because the sound went out. Really? Oh, is it the music? Do you think... Did everybody's sound go out? Let me know. Oh, it's back. Whew. Got you back. Good. I wonder, did you hear the music? I'll have to listen. Christovus, what is up, my man from WMVU? Many Voices United. Okay, I wonder if it was the music. Did you hear the music? Did you hear me making my jams? They're really into copyright over here. And maybe they think that that was copyrighted music because it was so amazing. Oh, when I switched over to my screen, it went out. Oh, interesting. Okay, I see, I guess. Oh, I know why. That was totally my fault. Like that. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, no, that wasn't Facebook. That was totally me. Keep my day job. Whatever. That was awesome music. It's good. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, that was my fault. I'm sorry. So let me say this again. The tool that I was using is called Soundtrap. And it is a free tool, and you can go over here and you can play beats and stuff. Here, let me show you. So like I can add a drum beat, and Christophus is literally calling me. Christophus, I'm on the thing. I can't talk right now. But anyways, I want to do. I might do a stream about this at another point in time. But if you didn't hear, my whole idea is that we must get out of our own heads. And if you can't do it through, there's many ways to get out of your head. There's many ways. And, good. Yeah, I'm sorry. When I switched over to my screen, I hadn't set up my audio right. And that was all my fault. 100%. I was blaming it on Facebook when in reality, it was totally my fault. We got to figure out ways to get out of our own head. The minute was on, I better go back to bed. The mute was on. Oh, it wasn't. Yeah, anyways. Everything's okay now. Just like in life, people, everything is fine. Everything is going to be fine. That is the moral of the human story. Everything is going to be okay. Always. It's never going to be not okay. When the sun, billions of years from now, turns into a red giant, now it will not, I guess, officially envelop Earth, but it will get so close to Earth that the water will evaporate, the Earth will explode into fire, and it is because of Pro Tools. Pro Tools is racist. It's an inside joke me and Christophus have. And that's going to be fine. When the Earth gets crispied like a marshmallow on a stick because the sun became a giant red giant, it's fine. It's all fine. And we know this. We know this. But yet we worry. We worry because we start looking at the details. We start getting in our head. Can I afford this? Can I afford that? Is this going to work out? Is that going to work out? It's all going to work out, man. It's all going to work out. Now, are you going to experience suffering? Hell yeah, you're going to experience suffering. Kim Kardashian was duct taped in the middle of her night in her bathtub in France as robbers stole all of her jewelry. Okay? Kim Kardashian, she posted her $10 million wedding ring from Kanye, and they knew that she was going to be in France, and they did a heist, and she thought she was going to die. She did. And money does not exclude you from suffering. We all suffer. All of us. All of us. Even the rich, beautiful people suffer tremendously. Not even first world suffering. Legitimate mortal suffering. It's like the one thing we all have in common. Our suffering. Meaningful, tragic, traumatic suffering. And yet, if you can get away from your brain through music, through peyote, through mushrooms, through LSD, through DMT, through prayer, through God, through Jesus, through art, if you can get out of your brain for just a minute, you will know the immortal truth that it is all going to be okay. It is all going to be okay. Hey, tomorrow, Black History Month, everybody. What would you like to learn? I would like to know what you guys would like to learn this Black History Month. Okay? I would like to know that. Okay? If you're looking for a book, I would like to highly encourage you to go over to this amazing human being, Ibram X. Kendi. Oh, look, here's Smithsonian. Actually wanted to tell us something. Kick off Black History Month with Ibram X. Kendi. I get it. And Keisha Blaine and a host of other events. Smithsonian will celebrate Black History Month this year with a twist, virtual programming. That's wonderful because you can't always get lots of music. Music will transcend you. You know it will. The month of February kicks off February 2nd with a book discussion. Get out. A book discussion with authors and scholar Ibram X. Kendi and Keisha Blaine on their newly released book, 400 Souls, A Community History of African American 1916 to 2019. Do you know the significance of 1619? Here, we're starting Black History Month a little bit early. It is I would like to learn why some people can't look past the color of someone's skin. Bam! Let's delve into that. It's a 10-part book spanning 400 years. 1619, the first year a known African had come to North America. I think. I want to say that correctly. Okay? 1619. Okay. La. Okay. Hold on. It's not The Project. I don't know what The Project is. I probably should know. Let's see. First African. Google will know what I'm talking about. Okay. First Africans in Virginia were a group of 20 and odd captives originally from the kingdom of Dongo in modern Angola, who arrived in 1619 in the colony of Virginia. They had been part of a larger group heading to Mexico and were taken after an attack on their Portuguese slave ship by English privateers. Their arrival was seen as the beginning of the history of slavery in Virginia, and also as a starting point for African American history, given that they were the first such group in mainland British America. The 400th anniversary of their arrival was marked by the 1619 Project of the New York Times, the Year of Return, in Ghana. Okay? We should all remember that year. If you don't learn another thing about Black history, please know that 1619 was the official year of the beginning of slavery in Virginia, which is slavery in America. Do you know who was the largest slaveholder in Virginia? Who was the largest slaveholder in Virginia? Let's see. Joshua John Ward of Georgetown was the largest American slaveholder, dubbed the King of the Rice Planters. In 1850, he held 1,092 slaves. Ward was the largest slaveholder in the United States during his lifetime. So imagine this. The first slave, Linda, good morning. Good. I had a few conversations similar to this last week. Please step in, Christophus. I would like to know what you would like to learn. Christophus, for the record, is an African American, and he is a freaking genius. 1850. So, or what would you like to teach? Maybe I should say. Maybe we should learn from you, Christovus. Maybe what you would like to let people know. I would say it that way. What would you like to your white brothers and sisters and the rest of America to know about being black in America? How many slaves did George Washington have? Of the 317 enslaved people living in Mount Vernon in 1799, a little less than half were owned by George Washington himself. Another 153 amount were dower slaves from the Custis estate, which I think is his wife. So, let me ask you this. You take a numbskull like Donald Trump, who is a madman, clearly, and you take George Washington with his own personal 123 slaves, and who's worse? Who's worse? And if you tell me, good morning, Linda, and if you tell me that Donald Trump is worse than George Washington, you got some soul searching to do, brothers and sisters. Who were the presidents that held slaves?
According to White House Historical Association, according to surviving documentation.
Okay, just good. Did enslaved people build the White House? Enslaved laborers helped in every stage of building construction. From the initial quarrying to transportation of stone to the construction of the executive mansion. They worked alongside craftsmen, white wage laborers, and other free African-American wage laborers. Okay. Which U.S. presidents relied on slave labor at the White House? According to a surviving document, at least 9 presidents either brought with them or hired out enslaved individuals to work at the White House. Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren, John Taylor, James K. Polk, and Zachary Taylor. Tell me Donald Trump is worse than them. Tell me. They knew it was bad. Don't tell me, well, it was just the way we did things back then. We just enslaved people. Nobody in their right mind could possibly morally believe that enslaving people is morally acceptable. It is not morally acceptable on any ground. So don't fall for this brainwashing that the Democrats are trying to instill in you. They do this every time. Right now, Fox News is telling you that Joe Biden is the most liberal person since, I don't know, Jesus. And Democrats are trying to tell you that Donald Trump is Satan incarnate. And meanwhile, we got 9 presidents who brought slaves to the White House or hired, or they didn't hire them. They enslaved them at the White House. You guys are being fed bullshit by the Democrats and the Republicans. Both of you are. Today you go to jail for that. What's that, having slaves? Do you? I don't know that you do. What time in history had the most slaves? We have more slaves right now than we've ever had any time in history, right here. There are more slaves now than any time in human history. A report published Tuesday, this is in 2017, highlighting the scourge of modern-day slavery, paints a stark picture. We now have the largest number of slaves on earth than we've had in human history. And Andrew Forrest, founder of the Walk Free Foundation, an organization working to end contemporary slavery and human trafficking, and you know who has them? Apple and slavery. Look at this. From Apple to Adidas, brand use ethnic minority slave labor in China. Between 2017 and 2019, more than 80,000 Uyghurs, of who Donald Trump determined were being genocided by China, rightfully so, were transferred to work in 27 manufacturing facilities that supply 83 global brands that you buy. We are benefiting from the genocide of Uyghurs in China. From 2017 to 2019, the Australian Institute of Strategic Policies exposed the forced transfer of more than 80,000 Uyghurs to 27 manufacturing supplies that supply 83 global brands, including Adidas, Apple, Amazon, Gap, H&M, Microsoft, Nike, Sony, Victoria's Secret, and Zara. Tell me you don't have one of those brands in your house right now. Therefore, ergo, we are propagating slavery in the world. We're slavers. We are. Aaron says it's okay for nationalities to mix, but not black and white. It's pathetic and all the white fault. Yes, that's true. Yeah. Christopher says I'm crazy. Well, you know that. Oh, wait, I'm not posting these. Hold on. There we go. That's a good question. Maybe we can start with the Cleveland International Record story. Okay. I'll listen until our future video cast. You got this covered. It's funny how one sound on the phone until you meet the individual in person. This is the reaction stage. I are going to Iron Saddle to play a game of pool. I would love to do a podcast with Christovus because Christovus has shared with me some unimaginable bigotry and racism. He nearly died over it. And he's just like a college graduate. I don't know. Do you have your master's? I can't remember. You know, a guy that's trying to break down racial barriers in a very powerful way. Almost got killed over it. It really sucks that some, not all, don't look past skin color, but it is a learned behavior. You don't come out saying I'm going to hate black or any other color. You don't. That's exactly true. You don't come out saying I'm going to hate a black person. So, because I've seen little kids hug another little kid of a different color. I've seen it happen all the time. It's like the most national acronite all the way, says Christophus. It's learned. There is absolutely no way. Now, I mean, I would like to see a study, a really good study on anybody that the hypothesis is that racism is innate. There he goes. Christophus went to St. Vincent St. Mary. And where'd you get your degree or degrees? We learn it. Right on, Christophus. I dig it. We learn our behavior of racism. It is taught. And I have to say now, as a white guy, Akron U. You went to Akron U. Right on. So Akron all the way. Went to St. Vincent St. Mary. Went to Akron U. Like to frequent, white. Like to play pool where you could play pool, and again was nearly killed because of it. Doing nothing other than playing pool, where you shouldn't be playing pool. So there you go. Why would you go to the Iron Saddle, Christophus? They have bars for your kind. And I know that's shocking to say, but that's what people think. Why are you here? Why did you come to the Iron Saddle? You're the only black guy here. Don't you get it? We don't want you here. Christophus's degree, Rhetoric and Arts Administration. We have to get below the surface. And my belief is we have to start being open to hearing racist ideology. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, he comes forward on this and says, yeah, a guy pulled a knife and called me the N-word and said he'd kill me. There you go. Tell me when you've ever, as a white person, now if you're a woman, there's a good chance you have gone to a bar and been subjected to sexual attacks at various levels. But as a white guy that looks like me, I can tell you I have never once walked into a bar and feared for my life because of the color of my skin. Ah, there it is. Why would he want to kill you, Christophus? Because I said hello. Because I said hello. This is the reality. This is the truth. Aaron says, I grew up with black neighbors, lived in Fairlawn, moved to Cuyahoga Falls. Suddenly my life changed. I hated it. No blacks allowed in the falls. That's why they call it Caucasian Falls. Except for my man Christophus. I think he just goes up there to fuck with white people because I think he thinks it's fun. My parents became racist. Then a black family moved on our street in the Falls. Everyone freaked out. I had to remind my parents we left our black neighbors behind and now have black neighbors again. So what was the difference? It was all because of location. I was so... Now we're having the conversation. Look at this. Oh, yeah, that's right. Look at that. Christophus was raised in the Falls in the 1970s. Did you experience racism in Cuyahoga Falls, Christophus? So, isn't that interesting that you can take a family who lived in a racially mixed neighborhood, goes to a non-racially mixed neighborhood, and suddenly becomes racist? So therefore, if that's true, which I 100% believe, does Suburbia create racism? My dad was the first African at Terex, so he lived on the border. Wow. Christophus has done the hard work. Christophus is part of a white fraternity, for God's sake. I can't even be part of a white fraternity. What a nightmare. But he does it. He's doing the work. Aaron says, lived in the Falls then, too, moved there in 69. What area were you? I was so have been your friend. I bet you Aaron would have been your friend. But we didn't have the problem that was aware because of one big thing. Oh, interesting. And a black one. I don't even get it. What do you mean, Christophus? I don't even understand. We have to be willing to have these uncomfortable conversations because we got to try something, because for over 400 years, from 1619 now to 2021, that's 400 and carry the 403 years. Ah, look at that. My parents never taught me hatred or racism. They weren't afraid. They weren't afraid. Well, I bet they were afraid. I bet they talked about it, but I bet. They've seen racism, obviously. They know what white people can be like. They knew that it was called Caucasian Falls. I mean, who doesn't know that it's called Caucasian Falls? So look at what happened here. Christophus was brought up in an anti-racist family. Racism wasn't even a thing until the day he almost got killed over it. We have to talk about racism because whatever we're doing now isn't working. So I'm going to tell you a story about a friend of mine who is racist, okay? They are racist because when they grew up in a mostly African-American community, and they were continually bullied and beaten by African-American kids. So they grew up and hated African-Americans. And I'm going to say something that I don't talk about because I'm embarrassed tremendously about it. But I have racial sensitivities to people from India. And I hate even saying this, but I need to we need to break down the barriers. And the reason is because I had bad experiences from people with people from India. I was an apartment manager, and this whole family of Indians from India moved in, and they were not nice people. I'm sorry, they were assholes. Not because they were Indian, but because they were assholes. But it tainted me. And so I have to re-educate myself every time I'm working with Indians. Because I have built this into me. Okay? This is, I think, the first time I've ever discussed this, but I need to discuss it because it's my own racial bigotry. Now, what's that? And then Christophus says, and all my friends at St. Anthony could vouch for that one, that you didn't know anything about racism. I wasn't taught it either. It came from observation of others due to my neighbors. I refused to follow suit with their skin issues. And Franja says, free yourself, Sage. Thank you. Now, conversely, I have a wonderful relationship towards black people. And you know why? Because of Ed. Ed was dating Nancy, who lived next door to us. Nancy was a single mom. They both worked at a factory in Medina. Nancy was an Italian woman. A white woman, and Ed was a black guy. And they lived together. I don't know that they ever got married. I don't know what became of their relationship. But Ed, and then Nancy's son from the previous marriage, Jason, he was a little younger than me. We would play together. All our friends would play together and that sort of thing. There was we were like a clan of families of divorcees. There was only one guy that wasn't from a divorcee family, and he became a pedophile. So go figure. Everyone else of us became just fine. So I don't know. Not to say that we don't have psychological hang-ups about being from single mother parents, but anyways, I got a pool table one year, and we stuffed it down in our basement. It was a very tiny basement. But Ed came over and taught us all how to play pool. And I think mostly he just wanted to come and play pool. But he would play with us kids, all these white kids. And we would all hang around, and this guy knew pool, man. This guy knew pool. And he taught us so much. Then, when I turned 16, my mother said to me, when they handed me that little bundle of joy, they never told me I'd have to teach it to drive. And she's like, I'm not teaching you to drive. Now, I didn't know it then, but in saying it now, she was like, I assumed you would have a father and he would teach you, but I'm telling you, I'm out. And you know who taught me to drive? Ed. Ed taught me how to drive stick shift. Ed taught me how to do maneuverability. Ed took me out. He became a surrogate father to me and many of the kids in the neighborhood. And so I have this wonderful, loving feeling towards African American men because of Ed. Conversely, I have this negative feeling that I'm deeply embarrassed by towards Indians because of this really bad experience I had of these. They hated each other, okay? They literally moved to America, moved into the same apartment building, and hated each other. I'm like, what are you doing? America's a huge place. Go to another apartment building. But no, they had to move in and gut at each other all the time, and they were mean and terrible people. But it wasn't because they were Indian. But do you see what I did there? I stereotyped. And quite honestly, I stereotyped black men. I am naturally excited and open-hearted towards black men, all because of the race work that Ed did. You see? Ed he just became part of the community. And we were kind of on the poor side of town, literally on the other side of the tracks, about a block away from the fairgrounds. And there were some other black families in the neighborhood. The Neals moved down the street. Not Tanya Neal. Barbara Neal, actually in my grade, became a homecoming queen. The Neals are a badass family. So I had really great role models of black people in my life. And it has changed everything that I think of black people. But I don't think a lot of people have that. I think a lot of times what they just saw was cops. They just went and watched Cops every Saturday night, and they're like, look at those black people, man. They're just crazy. They're murdering and robbing and stealing. Woo, I'm scared of black people. I'm scared of black people, because that was what was portrayed. And then our illustrious president passes a crime bill which incarcerated more black people in the history of America, because black people are terrifying. So people that don't know any black people, they make their decisions up based on the news and Law and Order presidents, which just happened over and over and over and over again since Nixon. And we're like, black people are terrifying. The other president, Donald Trump, he put out a one-page ad accusing those innocent kids of raping that girl in the park. Totally innocent. Took out a one-page ad in the New York Times. So when you don't know any black people, all you know is what you see on TV, and all you see on TV is that black people are raping and killing and murdering, and just look at them on Cops. Incidentally, totally not proven guilty, but yet completely guilty in a court of public opinion. I ended up, Christopher says, learning real fast about possible racism post-high school. But I can flip the coin and state that I have received major grief from my own culture, too, for speaking proper. Now, look at this interesting twist. Christopher is saying he's getting grief from black people because he speaks proper English. And may I say proper, what you need to know, I took a linguistics class in college. I was an English major. What you need to know about proper English versus a dialect is, and a proper English means grammatically correct, a grammar. The only difference between a grammar and a dialect is a grammar is backed up by an army. Do you understand what I'm saying? You speak the language of the people that control the army. That's the only difference between a grammar and a dialect. All of these other dialects are as rule-based, if not more rules-based, than the approved grammar of America today. You got to understand that. You look at Creole, they called it Ebonics. I don't know if that's racist to say anymore, but they're all rules-based. All dialects are rules-based. That's how you only can be rules-based, because otherwise you couldn't understand people. If you say, I ain't got no food, okay, I think, which is part of Ebonics, you know what that means. I ain't got no food. Now, it's a double negative, so it doesn't make sense in the grammar, in American grammar, but it makes sense in the dialect of Ebonics. You gotta learn this. So look, Christophus is getting backlash when he goes and hangs out with his African American friends because he's speaking proper. Now, maybe Christophus, I see, like, sometimes I would see our previous president, Obama, he could, like, switch it up, and I bet you could switch it up. But then, I don't know, is that pandering? I don't know. Aaron says, that's sad, Christophus, your own race being racist towards you all because of the way you talk. I know, it's rough. Euphrangia, G. Lash, let's see, what was Euphrangia say? I learned about racism at higher junior high at the time, when a group of fellow students told me that I wasn't welcome there. We were bused from the west side at the time in the mid-'80s. Wow. You weren't welcome. Marsha. Okay, now look at this. Marsha points out another racial situation. Tom couldn't get a certain job because he couldn't understand the black guys. Okay, now you see, this is like, last week and this week, I'm substituting for third graders, okay? And some third graders can spell perfectly, okay? I don't know how they do it. I couldn't even read in third grade, but they can spell perfectly. But other third graders are spelling words how they sound, like leave. You know, I'm leaving the store. One third grader spelled it L-E-V-E. And I'm like, yes! That's a perfect way to spell leave. In fact, I would rather it be spelled that way instead of L-E-A-V-E. What a stupid, why does it need an A? Why does it need an A? But then I asked the third grader and I said, why do you think we practice spelling? Why is this important? And they said, so other people can understand you. Okay? So I do believe that having a universal dialect, okay, see, this is going to get real touchy real fast. I believe that we do have to agree, so we all can usually agree on a grammar, a written grammar. Like, nobody seems to be up in arms about our grammar being racist, although it certainly is. I mean, don't mistake it, it's not. It's written by white men from Europe. But we have it so we can understand what people are reading. I do feel that we should all have the ability to communicate in the accepted dialect of our community. Now, I think, and if you think I'm wrong about that, please do tell me, because I just made that up and I might be wrong. I don't know. But I do feel that you should also, other people should appreciate a dialect like Creole. Here, have you ever heard Creole? Listen to this. How does Creole sound?
And I don't know what to do. And he talk say I know do.
Never say never. You understand? Whether you have one foot, one hand, can't talk, can't hear, there is always a way. There is always a way in life. Yeah, man.
Isn't that beautiful?
He's a one-hand brother. He's a one-hand man. He's a one-hand.
Okay, how about this again?
Journée lundi 25 novembre 2019 là, dans occasion Madame Surette Guillaume Morancy, secrétaire général organisation ça, li te parlé comme ça devant micro la voix de la
right?
Apocalyptis, tout explique-nous que même si créole Maurice et créole Rodrigue bien ressemblés, et na
E anoche nos loting een silent auction. E silent auction kita eigenlijk een projecto kuta een initiatief de Green School.
Sembe andias na kita pe pukuta kita
This
okay.
is English Portuguese Creole.
Kisono atapen futu feni vini. Futa kenso.
Tati ahora el detalles del Maga Noticias. El Zamboanga City Police Office está observa con el
saya Bang Aden Betawi Tulen di segmen Kamus Betawi.
Malay based.
Abang
Okay.
Pong.
How about, hold on. How does Louisiana Creole sound? Cajun.
So he did not.
DavidsBeenHere.com. Right now I'm on Avery Island. He's a local and he speaks Cajun. You're gonna give us a little lesson today.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Pleasure to meet you too. We've been together for 2 days. You're like my new dad here.
I'm a typical Cajun.
Okay.
I grew up on Avery Island.
Awesome.
Speaking French. Naturally, I'm French. Could be broken English. A lot of.
All right, this is boring. Anyways, you get the idea. Okay. Marcia goes on to say, and Tom grew up near downtown Akron. Yeah. I remember when Ebonics was offered as a foreign language. Okay, let's wait a second. Hold on. How does Ebonics sound? No. Doesn't even know the word.
When people ask me what I miss about the United States, I often tell them
were mostly slaves, so they didn't get education. But they would hear the English words being used, who had money and opportunities and things that they just didn't have. Say, what's up? Everybody knows what's up. What's up? Now we say, what up? If you want to work on accent, you say, what up? I spell it this way so you can actually get the accent.
That is, right? Okay.
What up? So, what up?
What up?
What up?
What
Instead
up?
of saying, oh, everything's all right, you say, already.
So
Already.
But let's say that, I don't know, you have like a court situation, you're talking to a judge. Would you talk to the judge using Ebonics, or would that be kind of...
That's the problem with Ebonics. The judge wouldn't understand this, especially in America.
Did you have to learn Ebonics, or did you have to learn formal English?
I had to learn formal English.
Okay.
To be really honest with you, I'm from Texas, so it's way worse. Remember I gave you the history that in the South there were more slaves. So our English is completely out of there.
So how important is body language?
Scientific.
Okay. Again, boring. But you can get a sense, right? Yeah, so yeah. But it would be fine to learn Ebonics. Like, wouldn't it be cool to go to this guy's class and learn these cool words? I don't think I would use them in front of a black person. I get made fun of, but I mean, it'd be interesting. And then Christopher wants to make certain to say it wasn't all his black American friends. Right on. Eufrangia is another intelligent brother. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so Aaron says, shouldn't be anyone getting down on you for you speak. See, look at that language Aaron just used. Probably very rules-based. I don't know which language it is, but it's good. Shouldn't be anyone getting down on you for you speak. I like it. I actually do genuinely like that sentence. I really do. Phonetically, it should be lev just as phone should be phoned. Yes, exactly. Leave it should be, and phone should be, yeah. No, don't worry, Marcia or Aaron. It's fine. A Haitian auction would be cool. Okay, check this out. Christopher wants to tell this story, which I didn't know if he wanted to share it, but it's unbelievably powerful. Check this out, guys. Cleveland International Records literally hired him over the phone. And just so you know, Christopher is an African-American man. He does not, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, he does not sound African-American on a phone. He doesn't. He just doesn't. And his name is Christopher. It's not an African-American name. He doesn't sound African-American. You just have to, I think that sets it up. Hired me over the phone based on my resume of 15 plus years experience. I knew I had the job. That's how he went to this interview. He said he was hired. He knew he had the job. Then the person says, she told me your name is beautiful. What nationality are you? Dun, dun, dun. And then I went to the interview. The conversation totally changed. Christopher's African-American man shows up. Totally different story. Well, save the complete story for... Okay, final statement. We are screening people right now. If you have no more questions, I'll get back to you. Get back to my lunch. I have to get back to my lunch. Tell me that doesn't burn in your soul. Oh, you're a black man. Oh, lunch. I got lunch. That is powerful. So I believe that we got to come clean on our racism. Okay? And I know that, like, in part of our process, as we become unracist or anti-racist, as Kendi would say, we become embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to tell you my story of how I feel about Indians. And that's not all how I feel about Indians. I have other parts that I'm equally embarrassed by. But that was a big thing for me to say, okay? Because I am not immune to stereotyping of ethnicities. I think it's baked in to our tribal way of thinking. Now, somebody kind of yelled at me saying, it's not tribal. Okay, I don't know what word it is, but it's where we kind of segment each other, where we segregate each other. Human segregation. Let's not use the word tribal because it does cast a bad light on tribes. Let's call it basic human segregation. Okay? I feel that is how we survived for 200,000 years, was segregating ourselves. Oh, wow. Look at that freaking handsome picture. Check it out. Check this out. Christopher Dominic joins 97.5 WONE, the station's first African-American on-air personality. Look at that badass. I didn't know you had a slick suit like that. I gave away all my suits, man. That's nice. Christopher D. has joined 97.5 WONE as the station's first African-American on-air personality. In addition, the addition of Dominic to the classic rock station, classic rock, incidentally, not known for its multi-ethnicity, coincides with Black History Month. I guess that was last year. Was that last year? Let's see. February 26th. Yeah, 2020, last year. And recognize the role of blacks in U.S. history. Look, there were black people in U.S. history. Who knew? It is an honor to be a part of the Rubber City Radio Group. It is also great to be a trendsetter and a diversity agent, Dominic said in the release. If you asked me a year ago would I have been working at the #1 classic rock and roll station in Akron, I would have just smiled with uncertainty, said, I wish. Isn't that lovely? I wish. This guy knows classic rock pretty much as good as anybody I've ever met. Dominic's career in the entertainment industry spans more than 30 years. It includes roles with WZIP and Alabama-based WKXN and Wiregrass Radio. A longtime Akron resident, Dominic graduated from St. Vincent St. Mary, earned a Bachelor's of Science degree in Communications with a minor in Marketing and Music and a Master's. I knew he had a Master's in Arts Administration with a marketing concentration at the University of Akron. Dominic will be on air from 2 to 7 on Saturdays and Sunday and other days. Christovus. And then, check it. I'm going to come back to what you said, Aaron, but I want to drop this. Christovus says, that article caused me problems. It embarrassed the radio station. Christopher, have you ever once been on the air at 97.5? Have you ever once been on the air at 97.5? You were hired a year ago. I want to know. I think I know the answer, but I'm not totally sure. We all need to be effing blind so we can't see color yet again. So many actually are looking blind because, oh my God, racism just doesn't make sense. Why? Yes. It doesn't. You're right, Aaron. It doesn't make sense in today's world. It doesn't. It does not make sense in today's world, but it makes sense in most of human history. I believe. Okay? That's what I believe. Ooh, yeah, where is Omi? I know, Omi would have a lot of cool stuff to say about this. I know. So, now, Aaron suggests that we should not see color. And I can appreciate that. My belief is that's not realistic, personally. Oh, Christopher was on the air until the article ran and then COVID happened. How does COVID play into a radio station airing a person? I don't mean to judge, but WONE, but I'm going to. Could it have been, Christophus, that they used COVID as a cover because they got embarrassed that they've never had a black radio personality? And they're like, screw this, I can't handle it. Get him out of here. I knew hiring a black guy was a bad idea, somebody said. What do you think? Personally, I believe we got to flush out our racism. And we cannot judge racists because I believe racists, an excuse. Yes, definitely, indeed, an excuse. I believe that racism is natural. Okay? Now, I do not believe that racism is right, but I believe it's very easy to understand, isn't it? I mean, look at us. 400. Okay, look, everybody. We had the largest protests in the history of America, and who did we give the African Americans as a president? The guy that ran the bill that incarcerated more African Americans than any other time in history. We gave him Joe Biden. How can that be? How can we have the greatest protests in the history, and mostly peaceful too, just like they said, just like they asked? And we gave him Joe Biden. If African Americans aren't pissed about Joe Biden, I don't understand African Americans. They have every right to be pissed. I'm pissed. We had fucking Bernie Sanders sitting right there. Mitten Man. We had him. And we chickened out. Christophus says, not sure what happened. Look at Christophus. Not sure. I don't know what happened, says Christophus, the optimist. Still have not heard from the guy who wrote me a very nasty email, which I have not heard from since last year. It's all good. I will never know. Let me tell you what happened, Christophus. You called them out on their racism. They were embarrassed by it, and they wanted to dump you. They were like, nope. We're white people. We're white people over here. I'm sorry, brother, but it was fucking racism. They couldn't stand their own racism. And we get embarrassed by our own racism. They were upset because they had never hired a black person. They hire a black person and all their horrors come true. They feel stressed out and icky. Okay? That's what happens. Okay? I'm going to tell you another screw up I made. The teacher that I'm substituting for uses the pronoun they and them. Okay? They and them. And we've been co-teaching because they have corona. No, they are staying home. And they're quarantined because a friend of theirs has coronavirus. And I'm doing the in-person class while they're at home. And as I was talking to the students, I said, she wants me to have you get out this book. And then they wrote me very kindly and said, I just want to remind you about the pronouns. It's they and them. And I felt like a heel. I felt so embarrassed. And not only then did I feel embarrassed, I felt defensive. Okay? I was like, I'm Sage Lewis. I care about minorities. Yeah, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. And now you're going to call me out literally these are the things going on in my head. Okay? This is in my head. I get defensive because they called me out on my bullshit. Now, fortunately, the email, the text back was, "I'm sorry, I'll do better." I was able to eke out a magnanimous text back to them, but my initial response was defensiveness and self-righteousness. I'm Sage Lewis. I literally said, I care about minorities. And then when I came back, I'm like, oh, bro. They got defensive. They got called out on their racism. WONE got called out on their racism and got defensive. And they're like, we're not racist. Fire Christophus. It's natural, okay? It's natural, especially when you're trying to work on it, okay? You're like, hey, I'm trying to do some race work over here, and you call me out every time I make a mistake. Screw it. I'm not doing this game anymore. This isn't going to work out. Aaron says, iHeart canned Don Jackson a year ago. No good reason. Said it was financial. Just let him go. Next day replaced him with a white guy. There is an agency, White. It was from Kevin White, runs it here in Akron. They don't exist anymore. They had one black employee. Fired her. Yeah. You got to be called out. You got to be. I'm just saying that, like, we must grow, and it's going to be painful. Aaron says, WONE also let go of my friend Steve Hammond. He's white, but has a mouth on him. I wonder who's that could be like. Replaced him as quick as they let him go to a higher pay who would fit in. I wanted into radio when I was a DJ at the U of A. So glad I didn't now. Biggest racist community is in radio. White radio. Interesting. All right. Okay. Christopher said, well, I do have the documents to back me up. I think what really happened was he realized the email he sent. See there? Look. Steve's a good person. He knows me. We used to talk before my school. Yeah. All right. Brenda's leaving. I love you, Brenda. Thank you for being here. Oh, I got to wrap it up too. Look. I am going to lean into racism this month. We need to talk about racism that all of us have. Because I am sorry, but I believe everybody has stereotypical beliefs. They have stereotypical beliefs. The easiest one is pedophiles. You think you know a pedophile. If you think you're good on everybody, try and do some pedophile work. Go research what a pedophile is and see how it a lot of times is hereditary and built right into the person. I like working with them because they seem like the extreme group to try and understand. But there's plenty of people, homeless people, drug addicts. Do you think drug addicts are losers? Do you think that? Do you think they should quit drugs? Then you should work on, I think personally, in Black History Month, you should work on the race or group that you judge. Do you hate Trump supporters? Go learn about them. Go talk to them. Do the work. Okay? Do the work. We must continue to push down the walls. We need a flat world. And then we have a slate where everybody gets a semi-decent shot of making it in this country. But when the system puts up walls that certain people have to climb over just to get started in the game, when other people are already up on that top level, that's not fair. And it's based on bigotry. All right. Yes, it was good to see you, Christophus. Thomas says, woke people need to get righteous and treat all people as people. Well, yes. But don't you think, Thomas, that we need to understand even our unconscious bigotry? We need to look, I'm telling you, we're all bigoted. All of us. If you haven't met a Trump supporter that just loves their family, loves God, wants to do good, wants to be peaceful, wants to be quiet, wants to go hunting, wants to go to church, has nothing, racism doesn't even occur to them, and you think that Trump supporters are racist, you got work to do. You got work to do. Because you are surrounded by people that are telling you that Trump supporters are just all racist. You don't know any Trump supporters. You don't live among Trump supporters. It's just to what degree? Yeah, I dig it. All right, everybody. That was interesting. We must continue to push the barriers, continue to push the walls down. If people have thoughts that aren't like your thoughts, even if they are negative thoughts, that's fine. It only becomes a problem when it becomes systematic, like what we do in America. A white Ku Klux Klaner is not the problem. Joe Biden is the problem, who says, oh, I'm sorry I incarcerated more African Americans than anybody in history. I'm really sorry. Oh, really? What did a Ku Klux Klaner ever do to an African American except someone down in Mississippi? Now, I'm not saying. And in fact, I've watched interviews where Ku Klux Klaners are embarrassed by the brutality of the Mississippi KKK. They're like, that's not us. We're not trying to kill people over here. We're just trying to be proud white people. They're not the problem. The people that propagate systems where black people get a worse education, where education, the amount of money based on education is based on the property tax. Do you understand that? That the amount of money a school gets, in at least in Ohio, I don't know other states, is based on how much property tax they have. So the amount you can spend per child is based on how rich the community is. That's racism. That's worse than the KKK ever did. You're starting black kids right out of the gate digging holes. Not only do they have a wall to climb, you're making them dig a hole deeper before they start. And don't tell me that the school to prison pipeline isn't a real thing to black people. Every black person knows it is. So they're digging a deeper hole, digging a deeper hole. And finally they turn 18 and you're like, now go. And you're like, I have just dug a 50-foot hole and I have a 100-foot wall to climb. You're like, yeah. Sucks to be you. Go. Go. America, you're free now. You're free to be you. Fuck you, white man. We got to wake up to this shit. All right. We got to wake up. It's not the KKK that's ruined America. It's Joe Biden. I'm just telling you. It's his moderate stances telling black people not to say defund the police. That's way worse than anything a KKK person has ever done to a black person. Way worse. Telling them how to protest. Spoken like a true white male moderate. You gotta come to truth with it. It's the Democrats that are worse are hurting black people more than Republicans because they're just tamping them down. They're tamping them down. Not now. Be peaceful, be peaceful, be peaceful, be peaceful. Meanwhile, the Republicans are over there. They're like, you will be true to Donald Trump. And they're like, yes, sir, right away, sir. Though those people have got their party in line. Now, I don't believe in their ideology, but they sure know how to run an activist organization. I love you too. I love you. Enjoy the snow. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You're a wonderful person. I love you. Have a great day. Bye.